we're going to start underneath the steering wheel at the main ignition harness. There's a tab on it that you have to push in, and then right here you push it in, which is on the back side. Push it in, pull it out. Then we're going to install the T-harness. So obviously the mating connector goes right back in the same way that you pulled it out. And then the factory connector right here, you're going to plug right on in to here. The harness is like this. You can fold it over, and if you get it positioned like so, this kind of tucks right up into this cavity. There's a big fat wire loom down here that you can zip tie to and secure it, and then this end goes over to the left hand side of the steering wheel where our BCM connector and where our module is going to reside. So there's a loom down here. I usually go through the loom over to the left and make sure that you guys go around the big metal braces right here. You can see my hand. Bring it right on through there. The next one we're going to tackle, BCM connectors right here. You're going to unplug it. There's a tab on the side of it. Just push it in. Okay, so then you grab the BCM connector and you plug one end into the BCM. It'll click. You plug the factory connector into the mating harness. The next thing is our OBD2 connector. So I got the factory connector out, which is just hanging right here. Just use a screwdriver. What I did was I just grabbed a little flathead. You poke one of the tabs from down underneath, and it pops right up. Easy. So then what we're going to do is plug it into the mating connector right here. Just like so, and then the white one pops right back in to the metal mounting bracket. It's only going to insert one way, and apparently I have it the wrong way. There we go. And you'll hear it click like that. So there's a black wire with a ring terminal coming off of the main ignition harness for the module. So there's a couple options here. My go-to is this bolt right here. This ring terminal will fit right on it. So what I do is just grab your impact, ratchet, socket, whatever, loosen it, run the wire around to the back side, bring it up. The bolt will fit right through the ring terminal. Stick it back on there and tighten it, and that's it. Alright guys, this is the TPMS cut. This is the harness, which is the red connector that comes with it. This is the rat's nest of wire. So what you're going to do is you're actually only using 2 wires. On the far outside here we have the white with a red, and then we have a white, third one in is white with a green tracer right here. The rest of them, this is what we do with them. You basically take your cutters, snip them off, and you're left with 2 wires. Here's a little trick for you guys. I used the door latch, the driver door latch, and I taped up the end of the wires that aren't getting used, and then I actually brought the wires back and put them in my drill. So the easy way to do this, man, you just like don't do it super tight and get a lot of tension in it, but just give it a nice pull, and now your wires are completely twisted all the way up. A couple things to note prior to doing this TPMS cut. So that big old rat's nest of wire turned into this right here. We got the connector. This is going to plug into our module, red connector right here on the end. And then that leaves you with a red, or I'm sorry, white red and a white green. So I stripped back about 1 inch or so of wire. So what I'm going to do is twist and fold in half. And I actually encourage you guys to solder this connection if you can, which I'm actually going to go back and do. Actually, I'm going to cut these terminals off. I'm going to show you and then go back and solder it. So anyway, here's what we got. Your kit includes 2 red butt connectors for people that don't know how to solder or don't have access to an iron. This will be just fine. but here at the shop we solder all of our connections. So what we're going to do is I folded it over, you put your butt connector on it, and you're going to crimp it down. And the only reason I fold it in half is just to give it a little bit more thickness to make sure we get a good bite. And then give it a tug, make sure that's not going anywhere. Okay, so this was our 30-pin BCM. The wire we need to interrupt is right next to it. Right here, this light green wire on the connector here. So one side, which is the white red, is going to go to the connector side, and then the white green is going to go to the vehicle side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. Okay, so there's our half cut. This side is the vehicle, obviously, because it goes away from the BCM. So what we're going to do is the same thing. Strip it back, twist it, fold it in half. White, light green goes here, and then you just crimp it down. Same thing up here. Strip it back, twist, fold, insert connector, and crimp. And make sure, give it a nice tug when you're done there. So there's a button on this module right here, right next to the little yellow wires that are cut. So you're going to push and hold it. You're going to insert this connector and make sure you get it in nice and secure. And you're going to notice these LEDs might be hard to see with the camera, but they fluctuate from blue, red, yellow, red and blue at the same time. So what you're going to want to do is release the button when the red and blue outside lights are lit up at the same time. So we got blue, red, yellow, red and blue, release, and it will stay on red and blue, as you can see. The next step is plug the remaining connectors in. So we got our we got the large white connector for the ignition. We got the medium white right next to it, and then we got the small white one right next to it. And then what you're going to do is push this program button 10 times, and the lights are going to blink every time you push it. So then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the lights are going to blink 9 times and pause, 9 times and pause, 9 times and pause, and it's just going to keep on cycling until we turn the ignition on. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, got 9 flashes. Let's turn the ignition on. So we're going to grab the key and just 2 clicks forward and watch this light. So you're going to go 1, 2. So give it a second, let it do its programming, and when the blue light alone starts blinking, that means programming is complete. There you go. It usually takes 10 to 15 seconds or so. So there's our blue light. Turn the key off, and the module is complete. So everything's installed. Everything is still blown apart in here. I highly encourage you guys to test the remote start before putting the vehicle back together. So on the H key here, we're just going to tap the lock button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Give it a couple seconds. You'll see the ignition and everything turn on here. And the truck is running. Parking lights, if you can see that, will illuminate in the front and the rear. So the doors will remain locked. Just push the unlock button. It'll unlock your door, and it will stay running when you get in. One thing to note, if you can see it, the tire pressure monitor sensor will be blinking until you do key takeover. So what you got to do now is just take the key, stick it in the ignition, 2 clicks, 1, 2, and then when you hit the brake, it's going to run off of the key. So let me hit the brake now. And then you'll see the key take over, the light will go solid, and then it will go off back to normal. So there we go, no more flashy light.